I'm now talking with Coldwater Fire Marshal Paul Dove. Paul, welcome to our community.
Thank you, Tim. Nice to be here.
Today we're going to talk about safety, in particular holiday safety, and also seasonal because the winter is here and people are using all kinds of devices to stay warm and keep their house nice and comfortable. But let's talk about holidays right now. A lot of people will get out candles. What are some safety tips you can give us?
Well, specifically with candles, you want to make sure that you keep combustibles away from the flame. So if you're going to use candles, use them in a glass setting where the flame is protected by glass. And make sure you keep anything that can come into contact with it away from it. Mm-hmm. Usually for any type of heating appliance or candle or alternative sources of heating, 3 foot's general safety rule. Keep things 3 feet away from the flames.
And that'd be the same with holiday decorations, keeping those away from the heating sources, especially the space heaters.
Yeah, especially space heaters, fireplaces, furnaces, things of that nature. Keep that 3 foot safety rule. You want to make sure, especially with space heaters, that you utilize a space heater that has a tip protection so that if you happen to fall over, the dog chasing the cat, anything, somebody bumps it and it falls over, that it turns itself off. Mm-hmm. So,
what about tips on indoor and outdoor lighting? Because a lot of people will put a strand together and another strand together and another strand together and another strand together, and that's really not the right way to do it.
Exactly, and they'll plug in multiple extension cords also. You want to make sure that anytime that you extend the power, it creates a potential for resistance heating. So the manufacturers of pretty much all the lights, a lot of people are going to LED lights, which draw lower currents, which they're safer. But if you're still utilizing wiring or light strands, typically you want to keep no more than 3. And the manufacturer will tell you don't exceed 2 or don't exceed 3, because then, like I said, anytime you're extending that, you're creating a potential for a short circuit or fire. And make sure that they're not crimped, especially like indoors. You're utilizing lights that aren't crimped or the stand's not on top of it. Make sure that it's clear and nothing's sitting up against it. And outdoor lighting, you want to make sure and wiring and electrical supply, make sure it's listed for outdoor use, because when it comes in contact with the environment and moisture, it can short circuit and cause a fire.
And at the holiday time, a lot of people will use the fryers, to fry the turkeys.
Time, yeah.
Oh, exactly right. You're coming off of Thanksgiving, you're coming into Christmas time, and a lot of grease fires cause problems.
Exactly. Safe cooking is one of the leading causes of fires any time of the year. So if you're going to utilize a turkey fryer to cook that Thanksgiving turkey or Christmas turkey, make sure, for one thing, you don't use a frozen turkey and drop it into the oil. You want to make sure that you don't use too much oil so that when you put it in, it rises and overflows. Make sure you do it outside of the home and outside of your garage. The further away from the house, the better. But again, a minimum 3 foot away from your garage, and do not do it inside your house.
All right, and finally, when we talk about the holiday times, we're talking about taking care of your Christmas tree. And again, another source, especially with the live trees, that can be a big source for problems.
Exactly. You want to make sure that you keep your tree watered at all times. When you first if you're using a live tree and you bring it home, it's going to soak up a lot of water the first 3 to 4 days. You can use aspirin, put that in the water to help preserve it. But you want to make sure that you keep the tree well watered so that it doesn't dry out. Because if it does dry out and it does come into contact with a heating source, they can go up very fast, and they produce a lot of BTUs, which will catch everything in the vicinity on fire.
Mm-hmm. And finally, as we talk about fire safety here, one of the biggest things that can help prevent any kind of tragedy out there, and that's smoke alarms.
Exactly, Tim. It's very important to make sure that you have working smoke alarms in your house. That's the first line of defense, especially when you're asleep. That's when you're most vulnerable. So you want to make sure that you have working smoke alarms on every level of the house, and that you change, if they're battery operated, you change the batteries at least once a year. But typically with the time changes, you would change the batteries. Make sure that you use a combination scheme like an ionization and a photoelectric in different areas of the house. That way you're best protected with any type of fire occurrence, whether it be a smoldering or a fast flaming fire. And also we recommend to utilize carbon monoxide detectors, especially with heating appliances that use gas, or if you're using a fireplace or wood stove, because incomplete combustion of any fuel will cause carbon monoxide buildup. And it's a silent killer and odorless killer. So make sure that you have a working carbon monoxide alarm in your house also.
And real quick before we go, fireplaces, heating appliances, again, just make sure you're maintaining them. Make sure they're properly vented. So again, you're not going to, exactly right. So you're not going to have problems.
Yeah, service those appliances. Make sure that you have your chimneys checked. Only burn, if you're utilizing a fireplace, only burn seasoned firewood, hard seasoned firewood. Make sure that you have your chimneys cleaned and inspected at least every couple years, and make sure you have your furnaces looked at so that they're working properly during the winter when we need them.
All right, Paul, thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Tim. Pleasure.
All right, Coldwater Fire Marshal Paul Dove with some seasonal fire safety tips with us here today on Our Community. Stay with us, we got more coming up.